All right, welcome back. Chris, 11 down, 5 to go. The Steelers are that close to being a perfect 16-0, although they have some tough games ahead. I want to look at the schedule here and what your thoughts are. You got Washington, and then you go to Buffalo. After that, at Cincinnati without Joe Burrow. That should be easy, you would think. Then Indianapolis here, and that's a team that could, they beat Tennessee this year down in Nashville, and then they end with Cleveland. You see those 5 games, what do you see?
I mean, I see 4 that absolutely could be losses just given the quality of the team or the way that team's playing right now. If you take the Steelers and what they did earlier today, then they could lose all 5 of them because they were supposed to beat the Ravens badly. Washington has a good defense, underrated defense. They got a home run hitter in McLaurin. They got a good running back in Gibson. I think Alex Smith is an interesting test because he gets the ball out quick and he's going to maybe neutralize their pass rush a little bit. Honestly, though, they should beat Washington. They should get to 12-0. I think Buffalo can absolutely beat them. Josh Allen, if he plays a good game, that's the wild card. If good Josh Allen shows up, they're very tough, especially in their own building. I think Indy and Cleveland, same way. So if they navigate this thing all the way to 16-0, it's going to mean 2 things. Mike Tomlin did a whale of a job, and probably Alex Highsmith too, by the way. And they will have played a lot better over the last 5 games to get to that point than they have for the last several. So that would be a good sign for multiple reasons if they could somehow get through this unscathed.
Yeah, and you got to remember, too, all these teams, with the exception of Cincinnati, will have something to play for then when it comes to wild card position and or division championships. Indy and Cleveland at the end, certainly those games are going to be meaningful to them. Let's go out to Rick in Squirrel Hill. What's up, Rick? How you doing?
Hi, Bob and Chris. Just a couple things. I think the Steelers miss Mike Munchak. And the second thing is, Bud Dupree really wasn't that good his first few years, and I think once the Steelers got Watt, it opened it up for Dupree because I think Watt gets double-teamed more. So hopefully, with Watt getting more attention, hopefully it'll open up for Highsmith to do well. I just wondered what you two thought on those 2 things.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that Watt's addition to this team has helped him, as would anyone on the outside. But I give him a lot of credit, too, because he knew in his year that he had to step up. He did step up, and he made some big plays, and he's continued that this year. It's not easy to do, though. Alex Highsmith is a very talented kid, one who is a quick learner from what I can tell, Chris. But I don't know if I would expect the same sort of production. They just got to make sure that he's in there doing the right things. If he's going to go back into coverage, he has to be good enough to do that. I haven't seen enough to make that conclusion, though, with him.
And the challenge for Highsmith now is going to have to be play as Alex Highsmith. Don't try to play as Bud Dupree's replacement, if that makes sense. Just play your game. T.J. Watt certainly thought highly of Bud Dupree. They compared notes all the time, so that kind of tells me what Bud Dupree had turned into. And here's the thing, to what the caller said there, to what Rick said. They stopped doubling T.J. Watt because Bud Dupree started producing, right? I mean, that's the real thing. You have to start making teams take that other extra attention away from the other player by making plays, and that's what Dupree had started to do this last season and a half. Highsmith needs to be solid. He does not need to be spectacular, but if he can make some plays, which he's shown a knack for, I think they can get by. It's going to be difficult. They need him eventually to step up and maybe get some sacks, but as long as he can play within himself, I think they could be all right.
And more than ever, this offense has got to do a better job than it did today, and I think they've been fairly consistent throughout the course of this year. They need to get back there and score more points just to make it a little easier on this defense. That's going to do it for us, Chris. Thanks as always. Appreciate it, and we'll see you again coming up next week. That's going to do it for our program tonight. Thanks for joining us. 10:35 back here tomorrow. Hope you tune in. Good night.